Welcome back, Advice Pod. My name is Kyle. This is Raysean, and this is Sam Brown.
How's it going?
Gentlemen's, welcome in. We're doing an r/ask today. And this one, I wanted to get Sam's opinion on because Sam always has like some very thoughtful, good television and movie recommendations. It says here, what is one show or movie you can rewatch over and over again and not get bored?
That's two questions. I just gotta say it's two questions because like
you can give two answers.
I like a movie is, you know, between 90 and 3 hours long, 90 minutes and 3 hours long. And, you know, a show, it's like you have seasons and it's so long and there's so much more to like watching a show. And it something that like seems like you are more capable of doing, of like watching it repeatedly. And yeah.
It sounds like you have an answer for each, both a show and a movie, but it says, what is your go-to movie/show? Everyone has one, a movie or show, or a movie and show that you put on when you are bored or you want noise in the background, a movie or show that is your go-to to fill your time. My movie is Dirty Dancing. I could watch it every day and never get tired of it. Really? That's an interesting pick to watch.
Oh, I thought that was you.
No. This is the poster.
I was like, Kyle, I did not imagine that would be your answer. Like,
yeah, I mean, I would be surprised myself if that was my answer. I could watch it every day, never get tired of it. I grew up on that movie. TV show would be Outlander. Every time I have absolutely nothing to watch, that is what I put on. And
I have a funny story about that.
About Outlander?
Outlander.
I've never watched it. I don't know what it's about.
Like when Emily was pregnant, she was having trouble sleeping, and so she would like put on a show when I'd be going to bed. And there was like an arc of it where the main guy, like I think, like gets raped by the villain a bunch, like throughout, and like
a bunch.
She's watching it, I think multiple times. I think there's multiple scenes, and I'd like wake up and be like, "What are you watching?" And she's like, "Outlander," and I'd be like, "What?" And then like the next day, I was like, "Can you not watch something with so much rape in it when I'm sleeping?" Am I the asshole?
I feel like you might be. I'm starting to get weird dreams in my sleep because of my wife's Outlander obsession. Yeah. That is okay. What's the show about outside of the main dude getting raped a bunch?
It's fucking weird, man. It's like a time travel show where I think it's also a period piece. So it's like someone from the 1940s who like accidentally time travels, and I feel like she just like walks by some rocks, or like she like, it's not like there's like anything about like how she time travels. She doesn't invent a machine. She's not some scientist who's like, oh, this is the time. She's like a nurse, and she like walks by some like Scottish runes or something like that, and she ends up getting teleported back to the days of Braveheart, like that kind of time period.
Oh,
and in Scotland, and like I think it has like a romance with this you know, kilt wearing dude.
Was it William Wallace?
I don't think it was William Wallace, but it was that kind of, I think it's that time period. I probably got something wrong there, but I haven't seen the show much. I've only peripherally watched it.
So we know what Emily's show is for this kind of situation, or at least when she was pregnant with Wally. What about you? Do you have any show or movie in particular that comes to mind?
I've watched, it's only 2 seasons, so it's a little tough to throw in there, but I've watched the this show called Frayed a few times, and every time I watch it, I like really enjoy watching it and can really get into it. And it's this Australian show about a woman whose husband dies, and her husband, she like doesn't get along with him or anything, and he's this asshole, and he dies with while doing a bunch of drugs with a prostitute and with like a cell phone up his ass, and it's the 80s in this.
Very cool.
So he dies in this really embarrassing way, and then it turns out he has no money, and like the house is foreclosed on. So her and her two kids have nothing, so they have to move back to Australia where she grew up. But she's completely lied about her past to everyone she knows, and she's completely abandoned her like lower middle class upbringing to move to England to be like a snob. And she moves back in with her mother and her brother who still lives at home. And it's one of those shows that it's like so thick with jokes that you can just watch it like over and over again and pick up something new.
And it was called Frayed. Is that Frayed?
Yep.
I don't think I've ever
There's
heard
just
of
like
it until
12
today.
episodes of it. It's so good. Actually, I got another Australian show that I'm going to throw in as like, this is the show. Even though I've only watched this once, I know I could go back and watch it again, is Mr. In Between. It's another Australian show. Have you watched Breaking Bad?
Yes.
Mike Ehrmantraut. It's like basically about that kind of character. It's like a
Hmm.
guy who like if someone needs someone beat up or like to get like to pick up to collect on a debt, he's the guy who shows up, and he's like a really calm, level-headed guy who like is very kind of reasonable, but also just very able to do whatever it takes to like get this debt. And then he also has uh part-time custody of a daughter, and that's like his whole drive is just being a good dad for his daughter.
So it really is the Mike Ehrmantraut story, like this bad, hard-boiled dude, but he's trying to take care of his granddaughter and provide for her after the son goes away or whatever.
Yeah, except it's his daughter, and he like dates a little, and has to like kind of deal with like like the real world, but like he doesn't care so much that people know what he does. He's not like, it's not like Breaking Bad where it's like, oh, I gotta hide this side of my life.
Yeah.
It's
He's like a known badass who will punch you in the jaw.
yeah.
That's cool. Wait, what was that one called again?
Mr. In Between. It's on, I think it's on Hulu. I think
Cool.
FX like put it on.
Mr. In Between. So you've given us two strong television contenders, at least great recommendations for us to check out.
Yeah.
Do you have a movie that you can put on and just never really worry or think about, like, or enjoy every time, like this person does with Dirty Dancing?
Here's the thing. My brother does, I'm gonna plug like my brother's Twitch presence right now, is he does this thing called mid hunting, where it kind of came from our Trailer Boys show. But what mid hunting is it's like they watch mid movies on stream, and a mid movie is like like people are into like, oh, this is so bad it's good.
Yeah.
They watch movies that are just like blah, like that are like not like good movies, but not bad movies, but like, and they find ones that are like, oh yeah, that was pretty entertaining to watch. That was a pretty fun watch. And so, and it's funny because like I feel like with movies, like no one's trying to make just like a good movie anymore. And like I feel like all movies are trying to be like so big and so good and the best at this and the best at that, and that like we've lost the sort of the like the middle class in society is dead. Well, the middle class in movies is also dead. And I think we should celebrate mid movies, and they can be so entertaining. And so for that, I'm going to say one of my favorite mid movies, Days of Thunder.
I know that I should have watched Days of Thunder, but I know that I haven't.
It's not the best movie, but it's Tom Cruise, and he's a guy who's been a race car driver in the F1 circuit, trying to become a NASCAR driver. Plays Cole Trickle. And what's his name from Godfather? Not Dennis Hopper. What's his
Robert De
name?
Niro.
The guy that plays the consigliere, the lawyer.
Robert Duvall?
Robert Duvall, yes.
Why isn't he like listed in all the shit that I was just reading? I had to pull up the IMDb page.
Yeah, he's like the like seriously the I would say third biggest character in it if you put, Nicole Kidman's above his. But he's like parallel to Nicole Kidman's character in that movie.
Days of Thunder. Gonna have to watch it. Raysean, comfort or just shows or movies that you can watch on repeat without any sort of issue, never get bored, always engaged in the content. What do you think?
For movie, it'll have to be Law Abiding Citizen with Gerard Butler. I love that movie. I've seen that movie like 20 times. I rewatch it every year.
That's a weird movie. That's like, because like the structure of it, it's like almost like a horror movie in a way. But the guy, like it's like if the horror movie, if you were like, I don't know, Michael Myers is kind of right.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Oh, I see what Freddy Krueger's point here. Yeah.
I just like the whole plot of it, just having the guy in the beginning gets screwed by the government, and then he basically screws the government in the middle and damn near the end, almost gets away with it. But I just love how he didn't really have to be like this physical type of person, and he was just more of a mental mind and was basically destroying everything. So I thought that was one of my favorite movies. I remember I randomly found that on Netflix too, and ended up being one of my favorite movies ever. And it's crazy because I like Gerard Butler, and also Olympics Has Fallen. I watch a lot of his movies. That's funny.
That's really strange. I would not have pegged you to be a Gerard Butler guy.
Have you seen Den of Thieves?
Yeah, I've seen Den of Thieves.
Den of Thieves. You know what I call Den of Thieves is shitty Heat. It's Heat, but like if you were like, what? I like Heat, but I kind of wish it was like just shittier. That's Den of Thieves, and it's still super fun for being that, and it's really funny and like over the top, and Pablo Schreiber, who's Liev Schreiber's brother, is in it, and but like Gerard Butler's so turned up in it. Like the first, like one of the first scenes, he's like this cop showing up to a crime scene, and he's like eating donuts from the crime scene and being like there's like some FBI agent who's like, hey, did you just mess with the crime scene? And he's like, oh dude, are you still a fucking vegan or whatever? Like it's so like macho, like fuck you, what are you probably playing tennis, right, you fucking loser?
I mean, the way that you're describing that, Sam, it sounds like reminiscent of Blood Moon. I watched Blood Moon a few months ago on your recommendation. That was a really fun, bad movie, man. I had a blast with that.
Last night on Trailer Boys, Blood Moon came up, or as on one of the streams, my brother was talking about it, about like how good of a martial arts movie it is, and like where it's like such like a bad movie, but also like the fight choreography is amazing.
There are so many heavy hitters in that movie, man. There's this weird 90s show, and actually this might fall into my pick like realm, I guess. It's called the WMAC Masters. It was made in 1995 and 1996. It was made with a lot of people who did stunt work on action films. A lot of the people were originally tied to either the Mortal Kombat video game or the first Mortal Kombat movie. And a lot of those dudes, or I would say at least three of them, Turbo Bernardo from Canada, Hakeem the Machine Alston, and I think one other one, show up in Blood Moon. So like as I'm watching it, I'd already done a bunch of research on this show. I almost put together a reunion of the cast a few years ago because I got really hyperfixated during COVID. It was a bad time. Read a whole book about it. I know way more about these people than I should, is my point. But it made Blood Moon that much more enjoyable when I started watching through. WMAC Masters, the pitch is it's kind of like the WWE or like American Gladiators, kind of those two ideas put together, but with martial arts versus just, wrestling or, whatever, like obstacle courses and stuff like that. But they also do kind of try to do that whole like behind the scenes, like story of the No, I won't say story of the week. I mean, I guess it does like highlight individual characters for like a little bit of backstory or whatever. But
Yeah, there's some theatrics to it.
yeah, there is season 2 and season 3. I can't believe it was 3 seasons. They do have like a season kind of arc of like the story that's going on in the background with like the traitor and the inside man for the World Martial Arts Council and things like that. It's a really fun, cheesy show that 6-year-old me absolutely loved and would tape
really
the shit out of on VHS tapes. And now it's all pretty much available for YouTube for free. So if you're down with that kind of, fun kung fu based nonsense, it's a fun, easy watch. You don't have to pay attention to, but it's always interesting.
Yeah,
it's a good time. So Ray, you gave a lot of Gerard Butler movies. Surprisingly, did you have a television show that you were thinking of too?
TV show, I would have to probably go King of the Hill. I watched that a lot.
That's a good answer. Yeah.
What other TV show? This is another one. This is actually pretty funny because every time I tell people I watch this show, they'd be surprised. Last Man Standing. I think that is one of the funniest shows out there.
The Tim Allen Show?
Oh man, that show is fucking hilarious. I don't think people understand how funny that show is.
I'm gonna go with King of the Hill. I'm not gonna,
way better pick.
I get down with King of the Hill. That's my purse. You don't know me is so fucking funny. The characters are so insane, but in like this really weird, like the show. Like I love the design of King of the Hill because if you think about it, the show is about like the most boring person ever. This guy that his favorite thing is propane. And everyone around him is completely insane. Like every other person is just completely insane. And his like they're very big, larger than life eccentrics. And his eccentricity is that he is so boring.
Yeah. Hank Hill is the ultimate comedic straight man for all of his crazy friends.
But also it can be like super crazy how boring he is. Like there's one episode, I forget what Bobby said, but like it's like he's like getting breakfast and Bobby says something and he goes, "Oh, it's only 9:00 and that boy already ain't right today."
Boy ain't right.
Yeah.
Okay. King of the Hill, solid pick. I'm actually fucking so relieved that you didn't take my answer, Ray. I would have bet money that you were going to take my answer. Just because we've always had this in common since we first become friends, but a show that I can watch pretty much. Yep. But only for about 3 minutes.
Yeah.
After
hardcore pornography. That's the thing about us is we both love hardcore pornography.
Hey man, we're exchanging notes. We're exchanging video links and stuff. Check this one out. Great power plowing technique. All right. My pick, earnestly, and it shouldn't be a surprise to anybody who knows me. You might not know this about me, Sam, but
Dragon Ball.
I'm going Dragon Ball. Yeah. Dragon Ball has always and forever been a thing in my life for as long as I can remember. And even though I have a very strong love-hate relationship with Dragon Ball sometimes, and how much it can be fucking terrible at times. Can't wait to do this GT rewatch for Super Dope. It's not going to be painful for me at all, but it's always something that no matter how much time I've spent to. Yeah, so Dragon Ball GT, it's a series that was made after Dragon Ball Z wrapped in Japan, but it didn't have any original creator involvement. He did character designs and things like that, but the animation studio made up a bunch of crazy fucking stories and tried to revert him back to a kid, and it resulted in 64 episodes, and I would say 35. Maybe it's a little much. Yeah, I'll say 35. 35 of them. That's my birthday today. I'm 35. That's why I'm picking that number. I just realized.
I forgot about that.
Thank you. I'd say 35 of those episodes are absolutely fucking garbage, and I'd care to never watch again. However, there's like another 600 episodes of Dragon Ball throughout the other series. And it's always been a thing that, like, no matter how old I get, I'm never bored by it. I always take something away from it. I feel like that's kind of the easy answer, and that's why I've been making a podcast about Dragon Ball for so long. I just always have thoughts about it. I'm constantly thinking about it. It's like a weird hyperfixation. It's my first real hyperfixation in life, and it's just for whatever carried on for most of the last 30 years. So I think that's my television show. My movie, though, I kind of struggled with, and it kind of gets back to the idea of like taking something new away every time you watch a thing. I don't know if this movie has been out long enough or that I've seen it enough times to consider it my choice for this category, but I'm going to go with it anyway because I loved it so much. When I first watched Everything Everywhere All at Once a few years ago, I think I went to the theater and watched it like 5 or 6 times. And I've watched it maybe 3 times since it's been released.
In the theater 6 times?
Yeah.
Like paying admission every time?
I went 5 times. I'm sure my dad paid for me to go twice because we went together a couple times. But I just enjoyed that movie so fucking thoroughly. And it had such a fun range of different types of movies within it. Like there's a lot of high quality action. There's a lot of high quality comedy. There's a lot of high quality relationship, emotional stakes within these characters. Michelle Yeoh's character is like man, like I've never wanted a character to succeed more in a film than I did for her. I feel like even though it's a movie that I've watched less than 10 times probably, it is a movie that every time I watch it, I am fully fucking engaged in it, and I'm always taking something new away from it. So that's like the easy, like first thing to come to my mind for a movie. But then the other one, like if The Empire Strikes Back was on a loop on my television for the rest of my life, I wouldn't really care. I love that movie so much. And it was a comfort film for me when I was a very small child. Used to watch the Star Wars films a lot, but if Empire Strikes Back was on an eternal loop on my television, I'd be fine with it because I love that shit. Kind of a nothing answer, but I mean, what more is there to say about Empire Strikes Back? But that's probably my pick.
To tell you, I was watching Star Wars recently, and I noticed that they get to the cantina, the famous Mos Eisley Cantina.
What? There's a cantina. All right.
Yeah, they get to the Mos Eisley Cantina, and the bartender looks at them walking in, and he goes, points at the droids, and he goes, "We don't serve their kind here." And it's like, what are they going to drink? They're robots. Like what?
Exactly. What? They're taking up space, man.
Yeah. Like you don't have to serve their kind here.
There is, now that I'm thinking about it, one of the Star Wars television shows, I cannot remember which one it is right now. It might be the fucking Obi-Wan show. There is a bar that robots go to. And basically they drink this liquid wherein it like helps to, I don't know, revitalize them or like reprogram them to be able to do whatever more efficiently. But they do show symptoms of like being inebriated when they're doing it.
They were trying. That's them being like, we got to fix this. Oh, what are we going to do?
That's them being like, this Sam Brown motherfucker just called us out.
Yeah. Guys, there's a plot hole here.
So I think those are our answers. Yeah, I'm going Dragon Ball, Everything Everywhere All at Once, or Empire Strikes Back. Sam, you had a bunch of different good suggestions. Australian television shows is how we started this off.
Yeah. I'm going to also throw in Moneyball. I'd watch Moneyball.
Moneyball's a great film. It's fun.
There's something that's very enjoyable about watching Moneyball.
It's Brad Pitt not giving a shit.
It's just well crafted. It's a good story.
Oakland A's, man. That was a great fucking year for baseball. And, numbers and Bill James and statistics and whatever.
It's a good book. Moneyball.
If I knew how to read, man, I'd be all over that. Ray, you picked King of the Hill and several Gerard Butler films, which I think is my favorite, like, low-key dark horse pick for these suggestions today is you love Gerard Butler films. That's like my favorite new thing I've learned about you this week.
Good actor. He gets straight to the point.
I thought you were trying to say you were a good actor for a sec, and yeah, you're right. Gerard Butler's a great actor.
Yeah, I faked it. I hate those movies. I'm a good actor.
Faked it the whole time. Make sure you rate and subscribe to the Advice Pod wherever you're listening. If you're on YouTube, please hit that subscribe button. We are very close to the next subscriber goal. We appreciate your help in accomplishing that. Sam, you have a lot of stuff going on in your world, man, in terms of new projects, promotional things that you're, want to bring up. I don't want to steal your thunder, but I hear that maybe there's a movie coming out.
Yeah. Next week there's or this week.
This Thursday, you and I will be in New York City to witness the initial screening of Mars.
Yeah, at the Tribeca Film Festival. It's playing 4 times to the public at Tribeca Film Festival on the 6th, the 7th, the 15th, and the 16th. And some of the screenings are sold out. There's still tickets to others.
Very cool. And this episode should be out before the showings on the 15th and the 16th. So if you're in the area and you're a fan of Sam, the Whitest Kids want to go support the new project, I'm super excited to see it. It's a new medium for you guys in animation, but I've seen some of the test clips in class and stuff like that, and it looks like it's going to be a very fun experience. I'm looking forward to it, man.
Yeah, I hope people aren't like, oh, I like Miss March better.
I don't think anyone's going to say that, but maybe. Where can people learn more or follow your stuff? I mean, I know Mars, has screenings happening pretty soon, but what if people just want to keep up with what you've got going on?
So you can follow me at that Sam Brown on Instagram. I post most of my stuff on there. But you could also go to sambrownuniversity.com, and there's a little thing, a submission thing where you can sign up for my mailing list, and I'll let you know about upcoming sketch comedy classes, sketch writing classes that I teach, and try and also tell you guys about news that's going on in my life. And then, also check out the official official WKUK Twitch channel. It's twitch.tv/official WKUK. Me and my brother do Trailer Boys, a show where we watch movie trailers every week on there. And search your TV for Whitest Kids because Shout Factory has released it. And so I think it's on like Tubi now and all these different like video on demand AVOD. You know what AVOD stands for? Advertisement video on demand. So it's the video on demand stuff where you see ads throughout it. So there's a bunch of AVOD stuff with Whitest Kids on it. And yeah, it definitely helps the numbers. More people are watching it, and it's a good show.
Yeah, I mean, some of the
seasons of it. It's a good show. That's the one I watch. I just watch myself. That's the one I watch forever. Just watching myself do stuff and being like, I did make this show.
In my early 20s, I might have picked Whitest Kids as one because I had like a solid 4, 5, 6 hours somewhere in there of I was taping them on DVR as they aired, and it just got to a point. And I told you about this point the other day, but I'll tell the audience so they know. I had to tap out with Whitest Kids at a certain point because you guys made that sketch about finger fucking a half dead manatee. And that's like the quickest way I can describe what that sketch is. But I'm glad I've come back to the fold and I've saw stuff that you've released after that. Because
I don't know that the manatee was half dead.
You got hit by a boat off the coast of Florida.
Yeah, but still, it's a strong one.
It's a strong manatee. You could tell by the sounds it was making. Who played the manatee in that sketch, by the way?
I did.
Yeah, I know, and I don't think about it every time I'm sitting in your class. I am a member of Sam's classes. Full disclosure, I've learned a lot. I've had a lot of fun. Continue to do that. I've made a lot of good friends. I've learned a lot of fun writing things that I've written a lot of stuff I would have never written otherwise. Yeah. So thank you to Sam for that. Make sure you check out his information. All of the links are in the show notes. And make sure you come back next Monday for some more advice.
And don't forget to be. Oh, damn.
Don't forget to be.
You blew it.
We got conflicting messages happening this week today, man.
No, you blew it.
You blew it.
And don't be a butt cheek.
There it is.